The rain was unforgiving that night, but not as unforgiving as the truth she brought with her. 5 years after vanishing in a scarlet dress, she returned, soaked, silent, and holding the hand of a little boy who looked exactly like me. "This is your son," she said, but betrayal doesn't disappear with an apology, and some wounds demand more than closure. They demand clarity. Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin. Rain fell in relentless sheets, blurring the pavement into a shimmering distortion that made the night feel more like a dream than a memory. And there she was, unannounced, unexpected, a ghost from a past I had buried 6 feet beneath time and silence. Her name was Celeste Rivera, a name I hadn't spoken aloud in 5 years. Her hair, soaked and clinging to her cheeks, framed her face in a way that stirred a memory I'd spent years trying to forget. Her dress, a dull gray, now soaked through, clung to her frame just as another dress once had. 5 years ago, scarlet, backless, unforgettable. That night marked the beginning of the end. But this time, she wasn't alone. A small boy stood beside her, no more than 4, maybe 5 years old, his tiny fingers folded tightly into hers, the way a frightened child anchors himself to the only thing he knows. "This is your son," she said. Her voice trembled beneath the roar of the downpour. I didn't speak. I didn't move. I just stared at them, eyes fixed, unmoving. Then, after a beat that stretched like eternity, I stepped aside. Not as an invitation, but a signal. Let absence speak for what words never could. 5 years earlier, she walked out of our shared apartment wrapped in a scarlet dress, laughing, carefree. A birthday party, she'd said. Girls only. "It's just one night," she'd smiled, brushing her hand across my cheek. I hadn't accused her of anything. I wasn't that man. I had only voiced concern, not jealousy, not control, because I knew her. Or thought I did. She hated attention, hated crowded rooms and loud music. That was the woman I loved. But people change. And sometimes they change while still holding your hand. We were solid, or so I believed. Quiet dinners, long talks about the future, scribbling names for the children we hoped to raise. We had built a life full of soft promises. Until slowly, the subtle signs crept in. Longer showers, shorter conversations, averted eyes, laughter that no longer reached me. I didn't confront her, I listened to the silence. That night, while she danced at a club, straddling another man's lap in a video I hadn't asked to receive, I brewed coffee. The next morning, she stumbled in at dawn, reeking of alcohol and other people's mistakes. I handed her the mug. "It's over," I said. She scoffed. "You're so dramatic. Controlling. It was just a party." There was no fight, no scene. I packed a bag and walked out. No forwarding address, no goodbye. I disappeared. But not without one final decision. A quiet act of self-preservation. I froze my sperm at a private clinic, sealed under an alias. A lesson born of betrayal. Prepare for the unimaginable. Especially from the people who once promised forever. 3 years passed in silence. Then came the letter. No return address, no words, just a photo. A boy. Curls like mine. Eyes too familiar. I felt nothing. Not denial, not rage, just nothing. I tucked the photo away. Then came the emails, dozens. Please, regrets, apologies typed with shaking hands and sent into the void. I didn't answer, but curiosity is its own kind of ache. So I hired a private investigator, a quiet man named Ray Holloway, thorough and discreet. His findings were poetic in their justice. Celeste had lost her job within a year. Moved back in with her aging mother in the suburbs. The man from the video, gone. Disappeared the moment the pregnancy test turned positive. Denied everything. Blocked her number. A year later, she started looking for me, but she didn't know who I had become. Quietly, I built my life again. New city, new name, new purpose. I kept my head down, my heart armored. And when I was ready, I acted. First, a DNA test arranged silently. Ray retrieved a pacifier during a chance meeting at a park. Result, 99.9% probability of paternity. Second, I hired the best custody lawyer in the city, not to strip her of rights, but to define mine. Third, I let her find me. And now here she was, standing in the rain, her voice cracking. I need help, she whispered. Please, I can't do this alone anymore. He needs a father. I looked at the boy. He met my eyes. Not afraid, just curious. Watching. Celeste began to speak about loneliness, regret, about how everything she thought she wanted disappeared the moment she had it. She spoke of love, of needing me, of needing us. I let her speak. Let the lies spill and scatter. Lies are flammable. You let them pool long enough. All it takes is one spark. When she paused, breath hitching, I handed her a folder. Inside, a structured custody agreement, visitation rights, financial contributions, legal boundaries. This is a reunion, she cried. No, I said quietly. This is structure. She begged, she accused. She wept, accusing me of being cold, of punishing her. I gave you my heart, I said. You left wearing that red dress. That night, you didn't just walk away from me. You walked away from us, from the family we dreamed of. And I never got a choice. A week later, I met my son again. Micah. We went to the zoo. He pointed at lions with wide eyes, laughed when I made elephant noises. I read to him that night. And for the first time in 5 years, I felt something crack open inside me. Joy, the quiet kind. I haven't told him everything yet. One day I will. Not to turn him against her, but because he deserves to understand where he came from. Celeste receives monthly updates through my lawyer. One email, one photo, one date. Clinical, distant. She lost a man who would have once walked through fire for her. Now, I walk beside the only flame that matters, our son. And I do everything. Not because of her, but in spite of her. Because some scars become maps, and I finally know where I'm going. Micah settled into my life, like sunlight slipping through a window I thought was permanently shut. He was curious, gentle, and observant. He liked to line up his toy dinosaurs in perfect rows and ask big questions with a small voice. Why don't you live with mommy? Did you name me? Do you love me? To each, I gave age-appropriate answers, honest but incomplete. I'm here now, I'd say, and I love you more than anything in the world. But the questions got heavier as months passed. One rainy afternoon, as we sat building towers out of blocks, he looked up and said, Mommy cries a lot when you don't come over. I paused, steadied my voice. Sometimes people cry because of choices they made, I said softly. But it's not your fault, Micah. None of it is. Celeste tried. I'll give her that. Therapy, stable work, parenting classes. She texted through the lawyer's channel, sometimes just to ask about Micah's favorite cereal, or if he still liked blue better than green. But I never answered directly. Once trust is broken, some doors close forever. She didn't understand that. Months turned to a year. Micah started school. I went to every parent-teacher conference. I signed every form, packed every lunch, read every bedtime story. Celeste got weekends, short visits under clear terms. Micah came home quieter after those visits. He never said much, just clung to me a little tighter at bedtime. One night, I found a drawing tucked inside his backpack, stick figures. One tall man, one small boy, and a crying woman off to the side. In a jagged scribble, he had written, Me and Daddy. Mommy sad. I stared at that paper for a long time. Then came the day I dreaded, the one I had prepared for but still felt unready to face. Micah was almost 7. We were at the park. He sat beside me on a bench, ice cream dripping down his fingers, when he asked, Why weren't you there when I was a baby? I inhaled slowly. Time slowed with the weight of that moment. I didn't know about you, I said. His brow furrowed. But Mommy did. And she didn't tell you? Number not until later. He looked down at his hands. That wasn't fair. No, it wasn't, I agreed. But I'm here now, forever, no matter what. That night, he climbed into my lap and whispered, Thank you for coming back. And just like that, something inside me finally let go. Celeste called unexpectedly. My lawyer forwarded the message. She asked for one meeting, not to change terms, not to plead, just to talk. I agreed. Public place, neutral ground. She looked tired, older than her age, like regret had aged her more than time ever could. I never meant for it to go that way, she began. I was stupid, selfish. I thought I had time to fix it before it broke. You didn't, I said. Calm, director. You chose escape. I chose silence. She wiped at her eyes. Micah's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have him, I said. She swallowed. Do you hate me? I looked at her for a long moment. No, I said. I don't, not anymore, but I don't trust you, and I never will. That part of me died. She nodded like she already knew. I just needed to hear it. Before she left, she turned back one last time. He looks up to you. Don't let him carry my mistakes. I nodded. I won't, but I also won't lie to him. One day he'll ask the full truth, and I'll give it. Then she walked away. Years passed. Micah grew. He became the kind of boy who held the door for strangers, who asked big questions about galaxies and God, who cried at movies and hugged hard. One day at 13, he found the folder, the old papers, the DNA test, the custody terms. He came to me that night, quiet. Was it true? He asked. All of it. I didn't lie, I didn't soften it, but I didn't weaponize it either. I told him what happened, why I left, why I stayed away, why I came back. Why? When I finished, he sat beside me in silence. Then he said, I wish she'd told you, but I'm glad I still got you. I looked at my son, this bright, beautiful boy who carried both our faces, and said, You didn't get a perfect family, Micah, but you got one that never gave up. Celeste eventually remarried, someone quieter, kinder. She moved to another state, came back for summers. The structure stayed. She became stable, less chaotic. Time has a way of softening people. We no longer speak, not directly, but I don't hate her. Hate burns too hot. I let it cool. What remained wasn't vengeance. It wasn't pity. It was clarity. Some people are chapters. Others are footnotes. Micah, he's the story, the best one I'll ever write. Some scars become map, and some endings are just beginnings in better hands. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss another emotional tale. See you in the next one. Hello, Book Bell.